Previously on When Calls the Heart.
Cunningham has withdrawn from the governor's race.
They're looking for a new candidate to run against Balfour. What do you say, Bouchard? You're the only one who can beat him.
You know, there's an injunction on all water diversion projects in the valley.
We're quite aware. And when Governor Balfour is re-elected and the injunction is lifted, we'll continue our work where we left off.
Mr. Bouchard, could you tell us why you think you would do a better job than the incumbent?
Current Governor Balfour, he wants to destroy small and vibrant towns. So I don't want to run. I have to run.
You're bound for a bigger stage. And I think in your heart, you know that.
Maybe these paths were meant to be.
Three weeks have passed since that night on the train platform. There are reminders of Lucas everywhere, and of how he stood up for Hope Valley, and how he's bravely taking on those who want to destroy our town. It hasn't been easy, but as hard as it was to say goodbye to Lucas, for me and for little Jack, there are also reminders of why we had to stay.
Little Jack, come see the tadpoles.
Oh boy, can I?
Yes, you may.
All right, so the polls open at 7 a.m. on the dot, so we'll definitely want to be there at least a few minutes beforehand.
I can't believe the election is here already.
Oh, thank you. Now, Emily is going to have Goldie. She said she's more than happy to have little Jack as well. And now, dare I ask, how are you doing, given tomorrow?
Lucas and I were supposed to be getting married. There's no need to tiptoe. I'm fine. I'm sad, but it makes it much easier knowing I'm coming home to little Jack with you and Lee next door and Goldie. Her baptism is right around the corner.
Don't you worry about that. We have everything covered. In fact, Lee and Joseph have taken care of all the details. All anyone should be thinking about right now is this election.
I know there are items for me on that list, and I am just as invested as anyone.
Good for you.
Welcome, everyone. Tomorrow is Election Day. Does everyone know what that means? What's going on with all of you this morning? Are you still feeling sleepy? Yes, Opal.
The election means everyone's supposed to vote for Mr. Bouchard to save the town. But what if we don't like Mr. Bouchard?
Why don't you like Mr. Bouchard?
You were supposed to get married, and now you're not.
Aren't you mad at him? And shouldn't we be mad at him too?
No, of course not. Mr. Bouchard is working very hard to protect our town, and he's a good man. I've always thought that, and I still do.
Then why aren't you getting married?
Sometimes people realize they just aren't meant to be married. Sometimes they're just meant to be friends.
Good. I like Mr. Bouchard. He helped us get our own time at the hot springs.
And he's gonna help a lot more people if he's elected governor, especially Hope Valley. But I want to thank all of you for being protective and for letting me know you care. Now, since we are discussing voting, shall we learn about how an election works? Do any of you know what a ballot box is?
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
It is.
Do you think my mom ever could have imagined that one day her granddaughter would be baptized in the same dress that I was? I am going to get this all ready for your big day.
Is that what she's gonna do?
Yes.
Is she gonna get that ready for you? I think so. Oh, that reminds me. There we go. We need to see Joseph later on to go over the details for Sunday.
Yes, I haven't forgotten.
But,
But
But we still need to figure out who Goldie's godfather is gonna be.
I know. I know. It's just such a huge decision.
It is.
We waited so long for this little miracle.
We really did.
Whoever it is needs to be just as special as she is.
Exactly. I have an idea, but I think you're gonna need to sit down for this one.
Oh, dear.
Yep, there you go.
Lee?
Look. Okay, it's gonna sound a little wild.
What?
Henry.
Henry Gowan?
I know, but he lights up whenever Goldie's around. You saw him when he was singing to her. He's probably the last person to admit this, but Henry's pretty good with kids. Remember the whole community garden?
And he did set up that scholarship. You loved when he worked for you.
I really did. I did. Look, I'll be the first to acknowledge that Henry has had his troubles, but he is the wiser because of them.
Wisdom is something you want in a godfather.
Exactly.
On the other hand, he can be so cantankerous.
So cantankerous. But maybe with Goldie in his life, it'll inspire him to be less so.
Maybe he needs Goldie just as much as she needs him.
Yeah, maybe he does.
Well, I haven't seen much of you lately. Well, it's all these injunctions against Union City Holdings. I gotta make sure they're not digging trenches where they're not supposed to be.
Well, that'll all change on election day if Lucas wins. But of course, what we know about Belfour and Montague, he's gonna have a fight on his hands.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So any other reason you've been out of town so much?
No, I'm just doing my job.
Where are you headed now?
Benson Hills way. Got a report that there's some Pinkertons up there. Probably Montague hires. What are you doing?
Coming with you. Better than sitting around town waiting for the polls to open. Besides, the last time you got mixed up with Pinkertons, I had to come to your rescue anyway.
I had that handled.
Of course you did.
Wow, that is a lot of posters. I hope people show up to vote.
Just you wait. This is going to be our biggest election ever, thanks in no small part to the efforts of the Bust the Ballot Box for Bouchard committee.
It's a lot of B words.
That is a lot of Lucas. Hello?
Oh, hey, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Mike.
Our sole focus is the Bust the Ballot Box for Bouchard committee. Elizabeth and I will be manning the voting booth from dawn until dusk.
Wow, that's so...
Great?
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Especially with everyone voting for, you know.
Well, we hope they will be voting for Lucas.
Yes, we do. And I would love some of those Vote for Lucas Bouchard flyers. The children have become much more interested in tomorrow's election, and I know they would love to help distribute them.
Great. Well, here you are on behalf of the BTBBFB. Bust the ballot box for Bouchard.
That is a lot of bees. Shall we? Mm-hmm.
Henry. Oh, just the man I was looking for.
Morning, Lee.
You got a second? I just want to ask you a question.
Sure thing.
Great. Okay, look, I'm just gonna come right out and say it.
Okay.
Goldie's getting baptized on Sunday.
Congratulations. She's an absolute delight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think so too. Anyway, Elizabeth has agreed to be the godmother, but we still need to name a godfather. And Rosemary and I would like that to be you.
Me?
Yeah.
Lee, I don't know much about God, and I think if you spoke with my son, he'd tell you I know even less about being a father. I'm very honored that you would think of me, but surely you have a better choice.
Listen, Rosie and I wouldn't ask you to help raise our little girl if we didn't know in our hearts that you were the right man for the job. So please, just promise me you'll think about it, all right?
I surely will. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Henry. Talk soon.
I wish everyone could just magically forget what tomorrow is supposed to be. I really am fine.
People ask because they care.
I know they do. even my students. It was very sweet. They told me they were angry with Lucas.
That's because they love you. We all do. No one wants to see you sad.
But I am sad. And that's all right. I'm happy, too. More than that, I just feel at peace about it.
Well, that's how you know you made the right decision. And perhaps that's what engagements are for. Oh, dear. Shh, 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 shh. They will be cold. I haven't seen Nathan in several days. Is he out on rounds?
I'm not sure. Haven't seen him either. We had a little disagreement.
Oh.
It was nothing. He was questioning what I wanted and if I was happy.
One might say he had a point.
I think he might be avoiding me. But it's nothing. Everything's fine.
All right. That is what we will continue to tell people.
Well, it's another group of Pinkertons we're not gonna have to worry about.
Nice. How'd you do it?
I just persuaded them that guarding an irrigation site that's not actually irrigating anything isn't worth going to jail for.
Good.
Next up, Rock Creek.
Okay.
Thanks for coming with me, Bill. I really appreciate it.
Well, figured you use some company out here. You get pretty lonely.
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, knowing Allie's loving staying with the Canfield.
She probably prefers Minnie's cooking over yours.
I think if she had her druthers, she'd move in with him and take little Jack with her.
How's Elizabeth holding up?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen her around too much.
Is that on purpose?
No. So what's happening with Madeline?
It's the life of a bachelor for me.
Life of a father for me.
Not exactly the same.
Evening.
Evening.
How's your day going, Henry?
You know, pretty fair, you know, a few surprises. Yours?
Same. I heard Lee asked you to be godfather.
Indeed, he did.
It's quite an honor.
It is. One that I don't know that I feel quite equipped for.
This is the kind of thing that could be good for you. Goldie can do a lot worse than having Harry Gowan as a godfather.
Careful, Mike.
Oh, thank you. Hi, May. Lazy man's load.
You? Lazy? Hardly. Seems we never see you anymore since you took over the saloon.
I tell you, there aren't enough hours in the day. Lucas made it look so easy.
Well, Lucas had you.
Maybe that's what I need. A me.
I never see you in the cafe anymore.
Well, I could stop by tomorrow. I could even have lunch. With you?
I would love to, but I have to go up to the hot springs to collect clay for our masks.
I'll come with you and help carry. You know, return the favor.
That'd be great. Meet you at the cafe at 3?
It's a date.
Elizabeth?
Hi. I'm so glad I caught you. I got your message. How's the campaign going?
It hasn't been easy. There's a lot of ground to cover. The Valleys may know all about Balfour's corruption, but he still has a lot of support north of Union City.
Well, you have a lot of support here. Especially from me.
I think I needed to hear that. You know, if each day, meeting more and more people of the territory, hearing their stories, it confirms why I needed to do this.
Lucas, I am so proud of you.
You were right. As much as I wanted to stay, if I hadn't gotten on that train, I would have regretted it. I just feel like I may have actually found my calling.
Rosemary, I thought everyone who votes could get a button they could wear. And that way, we can compliment people on doing their civic duty or scold them if they haven't.
Oh, Ned, I'm not sure about scolding people, but rewarding them for performing their civic duty? Well, I think that sounds perfect.
Lovely. How are we doing?
We're neck and neck in the polls. The current governor has an operation 10 times our size, but we have passion, we have moral clarity.
And the press.
The Beagle and the Beetle?
Full endorsements for Lucas.
Fantastic.
Elizabeth doesn't need to be here.
She is perfectly fine.
We can find an easy job for her, one without so many references to you-know-who.
Do you mean Lucas? He'd like his speech to be broadcast to the entire saloon, and he's hoping to be quoted in the Valley Voice tomorrow.
How did you know that?
I just talked to him.
We'd like to interrupt
All right.
tonight's broadcast
Time
with
for a
scheduled
speech.
announcement from recent contender and
I
Governor
told you.
hopeful Lucas
Perfectly fine.
Bouchard. Good evening, friends. A few weeks ago, I never thought I would be here today, running to stop a governor, our governor, who wants to destroy our fields and our farms and our way of life. I knew I had to try to stop him. And once I began this campaign, I realized it was much bigger than just one crooked governor and his cronies. Now it's time someone looks after towns like ours. Someone who cares about the valleys and the cities, and who wants to make things better. And not just by making it worse for someone else. Now I want to stand for Rock Creek, and Benson Hills, and Jameson, and yes, Hope Valley, and everyone who deserves a fair shake. Thank you.
No!
We now return to our regular program.
Henry,
Elizabeth.
what are you doing?
Oh, came to see Lee and Rosemary.
Godfather?
I'm humbled by the offer, but
It's been a while since we've talked.
seems I talked too much last time.
You were honest. And you were trying to help me. Truth is, you're always trying to save people.
How do you figure that?
Saloon fire, the Derrick fire, the mine.
I think you mean that I blow things up.
Well, we all blow things up every once in a while, don't we?
Ain't that the truth?
You've taken responsibility. You've done everything you can.
Never be enough.
That's the point of forgiveness. Remorse is enough. And when you forgive someone, we find peace. It's an act of grace. Henry, if they've forgiven you, let them. You owe it to them. And you owe it to yourself. Say yes. You make a wonderful godfather. You and I both know we'd make a great team.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate your friendship.
I appreciate yours too.
Still working on your sermon for the baptism? Oh dear.
Yes, oh dear.
You can always just use the liturgy. It will be fine.
I can't give Lee, Rosemary, and Goldie fine. I'm just stuck in my own thoughts.
Is that all?
Yeah, just thinking about Henry, too.
You can't change him faster than he wants to change.
You're right.
Yes. And I'm also right about you getting some rest. Come home. The words will come.
It's quite the turnout.
You're late. Almost right on time.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Fine? It's going to be great. Look how many people we already have lined up to vote. We haven't even opened the doors yet. Usually we're lucky to get a buckboard with 3 farmers and a goat. Oh, it's time. Hickam, where are the ballots?
I thought you had them.
Why on earth would I have the ballots?
I don't have them.
I have them.
It all comes down to these 2 names.
A simple decision.
Ready?
Oh, the buttons.
Hello. Here is your ballot, Mrs. Nevin, and you can vote right there through the curtains. Our first customer.
Perfect spot.
Okay.
You're right with you. I'll take your order in just a minute. Now here's your bill.
My.
I'll be right with you.
You ever seen it this busy?
Hickam gave my booth away. Key for you, and I'll bring your suitcase up as soon as I can. Oh, thank you for coming.
Michael, the place is really buzzing. You must be cashing in on all the election business, huh?
Tell me about it. I gave the staff time off to vote. Of course, the line.
All the way to Abigail's, we saw.
Abigail's. Oh, no. I'm supposed to be meeting May for our date. It's never a good idea to keep a lady waiting.
We could let her in.
We?
Yeah.
Really?
Sure.
Oh, I owe you guys.
Hey, Hickam,
Thank
I
you.
need my booth back.
Anything you want. Excuse me. Nuts.
This line is moving slower than molasses on a cold day. They're still halfway down the street. At this rate, we're gonna lose half of these voters by nightfall.
Taking forever in there.
There's only 2 options. What can be so complicated?
Rosemary, the curtains from the ball.
Elizabeth, this is no time to be talking about redecorating.
That's not what I meant. We can use the curtains to make more
voting booths. Yes. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, goodness.
Well, that took a long time.
Mike stood me up. Huh? What? I waited almost an hour. Well, that doesn't sound like Mike at all. Something important must be keeping him.
Like working the election, running the saloon?
I think he made himself very clear. He's not interested. I'll just stop pushing it. When does Mike ever make himself clear?
Clear as mud.
And there's your button. Looks like we did it. And well done with the voting booths, Rosemary. They worked like a charm. We got all but 22 people voted.
All but 22 people voted? Hickam. Governor Balfour won by a margin of less than 1,000 votes last time. We all know how that turned out.
Polls close in 1 hour.
Oh, my goodness.
What are you gonna do, Rosemary? You can't force these people to vote.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Looks like I'll be dusting off my elocution expertise. You'd be surprised what a stern talking to by yours truly can accomplish.
I'm glad I voted.
How are you going to identify all of the non-voters?
Yes, how are we going to find them?
You'll know who isn't wearing a button.
Exactly. Elizabeth, grab your jacket. It isn't over until it's over.
May I have that clipboard? Thank you. Ladies, we need every last person to vote. Would you mind looking for people without buttons?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, think about the world you want for your children or your grandchildren. Just go in and vote, and then you can be rid of me.
Oh, hello. It's a lovely day to vote, wouldn't you agree?
Make your voices heard and do your part to save Hope Valley.
Hi, Scout.
Well, thank you for performing your civic duty. I am exhausted.
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth.
I know. I still need to vote. But you get home to Goldie. I'll stay and clean up.
We did everything we could.
I sure did. Nathan, what are you doing here?
Voting.
Right. Looks like we're just under the wire, so here you go. Okay. I was worried you weren't going to show.
Well, I was on duty, but I always planned on making it back in time.
It just seemed like you were avoiding me.
I'm sorry that I overstepped. You know, I had no right to question you like that.
You were just trying to help. And it may have been hard for me to hear, but I appreciate what you said.
Elizabeth. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for bailing me out today, gentlemen.
Oh, don't worry about it. I've run plenty of businesses in my time. Always start out a little bumpy.
Lee was much nicer to the customers than I was.
Yeah, it's true. I was.
I wish I hadn't missed May. I wouldn't be surprised if she never speaks to me again.
I would not be surprised either. May seemed pretty upset with you.
I don't blame her. It got so crazy here today, I just lost track of time.
It was. It was really crazy.
Well, I am not getting involved again. I have sworn off meddling. It never works.
Are you kidding? It's the only thing that worked for me. Please meddle.
Mike, you have to figure this out for yourself.
But how?
All right. Okay, here's what you need to do. You have to tell her how you feel. How is she supposed to know if you don't say anything?
Good luck with that.
Come on, Jack. We don't want to be late. Oh, I love your hat.
I do too.
Maybe we can save it for after the baptism?
Okay, Mama.
Okay. Close the door behind you, please. Let's go.
Oh, hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
You look very handsome.
Hey, where's Henry?
Me?
Have a little faith.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine.
couldn't find a tie.
Friends, today, Rosemary and Lee presenting their daughter Marigold for baptism. For baptism is a sign and seal of God's eternal covenant of grace with us. Goldie was born into a community of love and kindness, of forgiveness and healing. By the guidance and example of her parents, Rosemary and Lee, and godparents, Elizabeth and Henry, Goldie will know where to seek help when she needs it, and how to give it when it's asked of her. And if she falls, like we all do, she will find forgiveness. Forgiveness is our path towards grace. When we ask for forgiveness, we find redemption. And when we accept forgiveness, we find peace. Marigold Elizabeth Coulter, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Goldie, we welcome you with open arms to this family of faith.
Did Buddy win?
We're about to find out.
And now, directly from Capital City, we are thrilled to announce the results of
This is it. Everybody quiet down. This is it.
You're the only one making any racket.
Voter turnout has been unprecedented. We have 76-55 to 76-76. By a margin of a nail-biting 21 votes, we have a new governor, Governor Lucas Bouchard.
I knew we could do it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Henry,
Elizabeth,
Lucas won.
so I hear.
Oh. I'm really glad you came today. I know it meant a lot to Lee and Rosemary.
Goldie's as sweet as anything, and I'm proud to be part of her life.
So what are you doing here?
I'm just trying to make sense of a few things. You know, I sat here for quite some time. Sat here and did my work. She did hers over there. Her on her side of the street, and me on mine. I was born in the shadow of a mountain. In a shack that never seemed to see the sun, didn't matter what time of day. I spent my life trying to escape that shack. And separate myself from those people. People like those 47 men. They were numbers in my ledger, and I sent them into the mine so that I could wear a fancy hat. I lived in the darkness so long that I couldn't see beauty anymore. But sitting here, across the street, helped me see it again. view hasn't changed from here, but I have.
Henry, I think she would really appreciate who you are now. I am exhausted. Thank goodness for Allie taking little Jack home. What a day.
Oh, what a year. Hard times, boom times.
A birth and a baptism.
And this election.
And everyone saving the day.
May, give the guy a break.
He had a good reason for not being there.
I'm sick of mixed messages. I just want to know where I stand. Well, then you should tell him how you feel.
All right, then I will.
Michael, I
I'm
have
so
to say,
sorry. I didn't mean to stand
confused
you
about how
up.
you feel, but I
really
really
like
like
you.
you.
Your voice is my favorite sound. Would you like to,
Yes. I'm so happy for them. Me too.
So maybe your meddling wasn't so bad after all?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I know why I do it. Meddle so much.
So you don't have to worry about your own love life?
Maybe.
Henry really stepped up. Maybe you've reached him this time.
Yes, he did. I realized something.
What's that?
Humility means accepting that it's my job to lead people to the light. Whether or not they want to see it is between them and God.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Madeline, what are you doing here?
We were in Buxton, and when Jamie heard Lucas won, he insisted we drive to Hope Valley to celebrate. But he couldn't keep his eyes open. He's asleep in the car.
I see you parked in front of the hitching post.
Old habits die hard. I know I can't expect you to forgive me for what I did. But I want you to know what Hope Valley has meant to Jamie and me. What you've meant.
Good work, everyone. Thank you. Good night. What are you doing here?
You were my great love. But when I lost you, something inside me just broke. The thought of going through that again. I loved Lucas. But I think I was looking for something safe, so I couldn't get hurt again. Because what if I broke a second time, but couldn't put the pieces back together again? I couldn't risk it. Especially when I have little Jack to think of. But that wasn't fair to Lucas. he deserves to have a great love. We both do. Oh, Jen.
Abigail.
Nathan,
Elizabeth.
what are you doing here?
I don't know. I was just... What are you doing here?
I was just...
Bill, what is it?
It's Lucas. I need you both. Now.